Good morning, gang. What's happening? This is our second little lesson about creative writing here. But I do bristle at the idea of creative writing. I'm doing scare quotes right now. Um, the reason is many of these techniques we're going to be talking about over the next week or two are things that we can use in all forms of writing to enhance our communication. That's what these techniques do. They help our ideas be understood by our readers more effectively. All right, let's get on into it. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the definition of figurative language. If you haven't figured out what figurative language is over the last 11 years of your life, I don't know. I think you need to do some personal reflection. But why do we use it? Well, we have to remember in many cases, figurative language can accomplish and communicate more than literal language. We can do more with a piece of figurative language in many, many cases than we can with literal language. What the hell am I talking about when I say that? Okay, let's take a look at an example here. We have literal and figurative language here. The literal version of this, he told her a lie. Okay, great. We understand a very, very simple idea. Somebody told somebody else a lie. Great. But if we look at the figurative version of that, his false words were poison in her ear, we accomplish so much more. First of all, we communicate that main idea that someone told someone else a lie, but we also create intense tone. We create mood. We communicate more symbolic ideas. We even create a bit of an illusion type effect. Poison in her ear, are we referring to Hamlet or some other story? Okay. All of these different things are happening within this piece of figurative language. We have deepened the meaning of our original statement. We've added more for the reader to chew on, for the reader to help them understand the overall piece and the overall ideas. So let's do a quick refresher here of the 6 types of figurative language we talked about during Catcher in the Rye. We've got metaphor, which compares two things in a non-literal way. Simile, which compares two things using like or as. Personification, which gives non-human things human qualities. Allusion, which is an indirect reference to a person, place, thing, or idea of historical, cultural, literary, or political significance. It's a reference. That's the most important thing, a reference to a thing. A synecdoche, that's using a part to represent a whole or a whole to represent a part. And then metonymy, which is substituting the name of a thing with something closely related or associated to it. So let's look at our examples here. For our metaphor, he's a nasty little weasel. He is a nasty little weasel, comparing somebody to a weasel. Simile, looking into his green eyes was like gazing into 2 emeralds, comparing someone's eyes to 2 emeralds using like or as. Personification, the first rays of morning tiptoe gingerly through the meadow. Children, can sun rays tiptoe? No, they can't. Come on, fix yourself. Allusion, if we allow the spaghetti dinner to be held here, we're opening Pandora's box. So this is referring to a Greek myth. It's a reference to a specific story, all right? It's not a general one. Synecdoche, don't slip up. We've got eyes everywhere. So there aren't literally eyes coating people's walls. Those eyes are a part of people who are watching you. Then metonymy. Hollywood is constantly churning out lowest common denominator, I think that says content or films, to make money. So Hollywood is a city. It is a city that is closely associated with the film industry, okay? It's association there. All right, now let's go into some tips, children. First, when you're using figurative language, you have to know why you're using the stuff. Good writers use techniques purposefully to create specific effects. You guys know this. They don't just use them to use them. They're using them to have an effect that makes their ideas more easily understood. So you should be asking yourself, what effect could incorporating figurative language have here? Will it make an idea clearer? Will it help me communicate more effectively? So you got to stop. You got to think about your writing. Okay. We have to remember that figurative language is a versatile tool. It can do a lot of stuff. So when you're stopping and thinking about your writing, you should be asking yourself, oh, do I need to enhance my tone or mood? Do I need to highlight or emphasize an important idea? Do I need to enhance a symbolic meaning some way or help the reader understand an unfamiliar thing by providing a comparison to something that they can wrap their head around? Do I need to provide more detail or clarify in some way? Or do I have to help the reader make important connections and associations, conceptual ideas? All of these things are stuff that can be accomplished with using this tool, but you have to use it carefully and purposefully in order for that to happen. Okay, our next tip, make sure it matches your tone and mood. Writing needs to be cohesive, so all of the elements of the piece should feel like they belong together. Using a piece of figurative language that doesn't match the tone and mood of the rest of your piece is going to ruin the experience of the reader and make you like a total chump, a total amateur, and basically hurt your overall piece. Finally, avoid cliches, children. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that somebody was red as a tomato or as fast as a cheetah, I would no longer be teaching. I would be chilling out on some beautiful beach somewhere with one of those drinks with a little umbrella in it, not thinking about teaching kids because I would have so many nickels, okay? Using cliche figurative language tells your reader that there is nothing of substance in your words, that they don't have to pay attention to what you're saying because it is shallow. It prevents them from recognizing the important functions and intended effects of your figurative language. So don't settle for the most obvious comparison. Okay? It makes you look unsophisticated. It makes you look childish. Take a second, stop, and think, okay, how can I go one step beyond to make my reader look at this and think themselves? All right, guys, have a great day. Make sure you're jotting these notes down on your note sheet and getting into those writing exercises. I am excited to see what you come up with. Bye-bye.